Hey, what's up guys, welcome to another video in the Tessellation series. Now in this video we are going to use the concepts that we learned in the last video about a hexagon shape, and then we are going to create a real tessellation pattern that is going to be quite similar to the lizards pattern of MC Escher. Now let's start by creating a new document, and the size really does not matter because we are going to use a hexagon shape, but I really want to use a 300 dpi and a CMYK color format so that I can use it for, you can say that, print on demand purposes. And also make sure that you have this option checked that is called create artboard. So make sure that it is checked, and then simply we are going to create. Then let's use this polygon tool, and by the way, if it is not visible you can go into this drop down menu, I think, or maybe expanded menu, and use this polygon tool, and then simply create a polygon. Now while creating the polygon you might want to press the shift key so that you can create a perfect polygon, and by default it creates a pentagon. Now at the top you get these options of the size, actually the number of sides that you want to get. So I'm going to type 6 here and press enter to get a perfect hexagon shape. Then I'm going to simply align it at the center, and at this point you can resize it if you want. So I would preferably to make it, let's say, 400 by 400, and this is what I put in the transform panel here in the width and the height fields. By the way, it does not really matter, but I just want to keep it in the height to be precisely 400. And now you can see that our main shape of the polygon here is at this area, this gray area, but the bounding box or the square is around that. There is slight gap on the left and on the right side of the hexagon. Let me just align it again at the center because I think it changes position after resizing. So anyway, we do not want this gap, so in order to get rid of that we are going to simply press this button here at the top that is called convert to curves, and now we got rid of those you can say gaps around the edges. But look at the width here in this transform panel, that is has changed. So this is something that just you need to keep in mind. It does not really matter. Anyway, let's just remove the fill color and give it a stroke of some width so that you can see what I'm doing here. Let's just give it 4 point strokes, and I think that looks fine, and I think the black color is fine too. Now I'm going to create a copy of this by pressing Ctrl J and hide the base one, the basic copy or the first copy. Let's just hide it because we are going to need it at the later stage. Let's work on this copied version, and in this one we are going to, let's just label the sides as we have discussed in the previous video. Let's just maybe label here this side to be maybe A, and let's just scale it up a bit. So this is A, let's just maybe make it like that. So A, and then let's just maybe make this one B, and maybe slightly rotate it. By the way, it is not really necessary. You will not need to label these sides after some practice, but just for the purpose of this tutorial I'm labeling it like that, and let's just maybe make it F like that. So these are the three sides that we are going to use with these labels. The next thing that we are going to use, we are going to actually do is to, you can say that, create some circle around the corner points here. So maybe let's just maybe create a circle. Let's just fill it with a color other than black so that we can see here. I think red would work fine, and let's just place it here at this location, at this corner, bring it behind everything, and then create a copy of this circle and bring it here, and let's just maybe make it perfectly at this, not really perfect but just somewhat around the center. And the same thing goes with the other one. We are going to put it here, and the purpose of putting these circles here at these corner points is that so that we do not accidentally move these points later on when we are creating the tessellation. So we have these corner points highlighted with these circles. Let's just group them, and then let's just hide it. Actually let's just lock it because we do not want to move it. We do not really need it in the process of creating the tessellation, just to highlight the corner points. Now I'm going to create a group of these curves along with the letters by pressing Ctrl G, and it has now created a group, and then we are going to turn it into a symbol. Now if you do not have this symbols panel open, you know what to do. Go to View, Studio, and choose this option, Symbols here. And then after selecting the group, I'm going to press Create to create a symbol from it, and then I can work on it. Now if you remember from the last video, we rotate this side A and bring it here on this vertical side, or we can bring it on the other side. That totally depends upon you. Or let's just bring it here on the vertical side, so that our this lesson or this tutorial is according to the rules that we learned, or according to the method that we used in the previous video. So at the top we are going to use this button that is called Enable Transform Origin, and then we are going to move the target area here on this corner point. Make sure that the boundary is highlighted. It will show that now your target is at the perfect location. And then we are going to press Ctrl J to create a copy of this symbol, and then rotate it like that. And as you can see that our A shape has rotated perfectly as it was supposed to rotate. Then we are going to press, without deselecting anything, let's just press Ctrl J again to create another copy of that at the top location. Then we are going to go back to the first symbol that we created in the layers panel, this one. And now let's just focus on this side F. So if you remember from the previous video, we rotated it and moved it along this top side. So this is what we are going to do exactly now. We are going to move this target area at this corner point like that, and then create a copy of this symbol, and then rotate it at this top location perfectly like that. And you can see that F has rotated perfectly as it was supposed to. Then press Ctrl J again to create another copy on this left side. Now we need two more copies on the lower bottom here, and we are going to use this basic symbol or basic shape, the first one again. And now we are going to focus on side B. Now if you remember, we rotated B on this side here, and the same thing we are going to do again. We are going to bring that target symbol here or icon here at this lower bottom corner like that. Then press Ctrl J to create a copy, and then rotate it like that. And as soon as it snaps on this area, we are going to leave it, and then press Ctrl J again to fill the other side as well. Now our basic layout is ready. Now we can go into any symbol and remove these labels A, B, C, D. We do not really need it. Let's just delete them. And another thing that we are going to do here is to delete the extra lines. So you remember that this top right side, this is the one that we had, and then rotated it on the other side. So we are going to use this white arrow tool here, choose this bottom right corner here, this one, and at the top use this option called break curve. Next to action we have the option of break curve. After breaking the curve, we can move this point here and move actually the line inside here, and we do not need it. And let's just press delete, it will delete it. Then we are going to select this bottom corner point, because this is the side bottom right, this is the one that we need. So we are going to select this bottom corner point, and then simply at the top we are going to use the same option, break curve. And then if we move it here, you can see that we move this line inside, and then simply we can press delete to delete this line. Now in the symbol you can see that now we get two separate curves, and this is the consequence of you can say that of creating this hexagon tessellation. But don't worry, it is slightly different from the previous tutorials. It will work perfectly. Then again we are going to select the curve which we have this side here, and on that we are going to select this corner point because we want to break it. Now again let's just break it, move it inside because we want to remove this side, and then simply press delete. Now in the symbol we have three separate curves, because the three separate curves represent the three sides, and this is what we need. So if I just select this top right corner, this one, now let me show you what I mean. So if I just move it inside, you can see that the right side is moving in the right direction, and this is exactly what we wanted. Similarly, you can test it out with, let's say, this bottom one. You can move it inside and see if it is working perfectly or not, and you can see that if we move this one, the other side moves it accordingly like that. Same is the case with the vertical one. If I move inside and outside, the same thing happens. And now it is time for us to create a shape from these separate curves. And for this tutorial, I'm going to use one of the lizard shapes of MC Escher as an example. So I'm going to bring that image inside it here, and then move our points according to that shape or the guideline of that shape of the lizard. So this is kind of like a guideline that I found online, and we are going to try to create something similar. So let's just focus it on this top right area here, and we are going to create something a line similar to this one. So the first thing that you notice is that we get kind of like a leg. So we are going to use this node tool here and try to create a leg shape here like that, and then maybe move it here somewhat like that. And I'm just trying to create something that would represent something very similar to that. And then we have kind of like you can say mouth here in this location, something like that. And we can always adjust these one later on if we see fit. So we have now created this red line of this leg here, and the same thing has been created on this side here, which is kind of like a purple line here on this example that you see. Now let's just focus on maybe here on this side, on this vertical line here. So on this vertical line, this is the red one that is representing here in this you can say guideline here. So we are going to create something similar, maybe like that, and then move this point inside, try to create a corner here and bring it here, and then let's just maybe create kind of like a tail shape here, bring it here, and then move it down another point here to give it a shape like that. So this is kind of like a tail that we got here on this side. And now let's just move on to this lower side here on this location and try to mimic the red line that is present here on the lower right side here. So let's just start from here and bring it inside, maybe create another point here, another point there, and then bring it down a bit closer to it like that, create a shape, leg shape here, and then maybe bring it here and then make it like that. So you see that we are kind of getting the similar style of the lizard as we have in this our guideline. Now let's just try to refine it. So now all I'm doing is just adjusting these points and trying to make them look better. And I'm not only focused on the ones that I'm modifying, I'm also focused on the other side where it is. So for example, if I just move this point, you can see that we are also moving this point. So I'm also focused on the other side, what kind of shape I'm getting at the other location. So guys, I'm pretty satisfied with how it looks, and now it is time for us to extract this shape. By the way, if you want to you can say smooth out these lines, that totally depends upon you, but I'm currently looking more of at this moment more of like this sharp edges or corner points look for this kind of design. So anyway, let's just maybe close this symbol, and we do not need this, you can say that this guideline photo, so I'm going to hide it at this moment and work on our pattern. Now I'm going to select all of the symbols in the layer panel that I have, and in the symbols panel we are going to press this option detach, and it has now converted those symbols into group. Now I'm going to right click and choose this option, ungroup all. Now it has given me all the curves in a separate you can say layer here, and we can remove the unwanted ones. So I have removed every curve that was not defining the shape of the lizard, and I am only left with now the curves that are defining the basic shape of the lizard. Now all I want now is to join these curves. So you can see that we have all the curves in a separate layer, or you can say every curve or every shape is just slightly separate. So we want to join it. So I'm going to select, let's say select this one, and then maybe select this one, and now we know that this thread area, this circle area is the corner point. So I'm going to select that node, and at the top we are going to use this option join curve, and then I'm going to select this area, this line, and select that node over that area and join it. Same is the case with the other one. We are going to select every curve and then join the ones over the node area, or you can say that over that red circle area that we have just pointed out. Okay, now all of our lizard shape is ready, and now it is time to create some details on it. It totally depends upon you what kind of details you want. So I'm just going to keep it really simple at this point here. So guys, I have just added some very basic details, and let's just bring all the details here that we created and bring it inside that lizard shape, and that one would be this curve that was at the bottom. And let's just color it, give it a color. We can give it any color. Let's just for the moment give it maybe white color, and maybe we can change it later on. Let's just focus here on these creating the pattern. Now the next thing that I'm going to do here is to create a copy of this one around the basic tile, and we are going to use the first hexagon shape that we created, the basic one that we already hid before starting the tessellation, and we're going to bring it at the top and make this shape, lizard shape, a child of that hexagon shape, and then go to symbols again and create a shape or a symbol from that hexagon shape. Then again we are going to rotate this one, and we are going to rotate at this corner point here, because this is the corner point which we used when we were creating the pattern. And then press Ctrl J to create a copy of that symbol and rotate it like that. Now I would like to color this one slightly different because I want to create a contrast here. So I'm going to select this symbol here, that the copied one, and then in the layer, in the symbols panel, detach it and go to the curve here of the lizard and maybe color it slightly different. Maybe let's just give it slightly bluish color. I think that would look right. We can always change it later on. And then I'm going to select that group again and create a symbol from that, like that. Now I want to create another copy and move it here at the top location. So I'm going to create a copy of that blue symbol here and then rotate it like that here and bring it here. Now I would like to color this one slightly different again. Now it is not really necessary if you do not want to, but I want to create a slight more contrast here. So I'm going to detach it again and this time give it a slightly different color. Maybe let's just give it a kind of grayish color, dark grayish, something like that. I think that would look fine. And then select that group, create another symbol. Now we have three separate colors. Now we want to fill the rest of this other one here with these ones. So remember we rotated it here. We can create a copy of this one to rotate it back here and then let's just focus on this corner point here, this one that we used to create the tessellation. So I'm going to bring that target area here, because this is the side we copied and brought it here at the top. So I'm going to rotate it here at this location. Now it will fit perfectly. Now I want a kind of like this black one or grayish one here and this location here, and I'm going to select this one. Again, we know that we rotated it here along this axis, so I'm going to press Ctrl J again, and it still has the target area along that corner. So I'm going to rotate it back by pressing the Shift key and make it again on the one that we created, the first one. Now I'm going to bring this cursor again here, actually the target area at this corner point, and now rotate it to its new location like that. And this is the way we can fill the bottom ones here. So we need know that this is the one we need kind of like, you can say, this blue color here. So again, I'm going to select this one. I'm going to create a copy of this one and rotate it back here. And now let's focus on this side here. This is the side that we wanted, so we cut part from this one and bring it on this side. So I'm going to select this one and bring that target area on this bottom corner point, because this is the one we use to rotate this side. And now we are going to rotate it along this section and bring it here. Same thing we are going to do with this dark one. Create a copy of this one, bring it back to its original position here, and then move it from its bottom corner, or you can say rotate it from its bottom corner, and now make it and place it here at this location. Now you can see that we have now our perfectly looking lizards. They are fitting together, and if you want to see if they are fitting or not, you can simply bring that laser outside the curve, and each and every separate comes, the blue, the white, and the gray one outside that curve. Maybe hide that curve or the hexagon shape curve, and you can see that they are fitting perfectly. So let's just bring them back inside that curve in their respective curves. And now it is time for us to fill the rest of the document, and then you can say make it seamless. So I do not need these red dots or the red highlight dots, so I'm going to hide it. Now there are different ways you can tile it, and one of the ways is that if you are coloring it in three different colors. So this is how I would usually go with it. So I'm going to select the pen tool and I'm going to place it here. So I'm going to place it here, and as soon as it is highlighted, I'm going to click and create a horizontal line, pressing the Shift key and create a horizontal line. So I'm going to select these ones, these three top ones, hexagon shape, press Ctrl J to create a copy and bring it here, and as soon as it snaps, we are going to leave it like that. Then I'm going to delete this horizontal line, and let's just maybe increase the size of our artboard because we are going to need it. So I'm going to increase the size of our artboard so that we can fill in more shapes here. Again, I'm going to use the pen tool, and now I want to create a horizontal line along this corner point, this here. So I'm going to click here and create a horizontal line, and this time I'm going to select these bottom three shapes, press Ctrl J to copy them and then move them down, and as soon as they snap, I'm going to leave it like that. And by the way, if they are not snapping, make sure that in this snapping option you have this snapping option checked, and you can increase this maximum number value here to it. So increase it from 6 to any number higher and they will snap perfectly. Now I want the shapes on this right side and on the left side. So in order to fill these areas, we are going to again copy this shape, and this shape, these three ones that we already copied. So I can place it here like that. So by the way, they will not snap. In order to make them snap, what you will need again a horizontal line. So I'm going to use this pen tool and create a horizontal line from this corner area. So I'm going to select these three again and pressing the Alt key, I'm going to move them here and then make sure that they snap in this location, and as soon as this snap, I'm going to leave it like that. And then I'm going to select these again, and I want them to bring them down here, so in this location, let's say, yeah, in this location. So in order to do that, I'm going to create another horizontal line, and it is going to be here in this location like that. And I'm going to select these three, press the Alt key and then move them down, and they should snap here right there like that. Let's just delete this line again. Now you can select this blue and the white one, press the Alt key and make it snap here in this location like that to fill this area, and they will snap perfectly. And one more thing that we need is to just make them fill that top area as well, and by the way, they will not snap again. So we need to create a horizontal line from this corner like that, and select these 3 points, 3 shapes, bring them at the top and then snap them like that. Delete that horizontal line. Now again we are going to fill the other side here in the same way. So we are going to again use this pen tool, and first let's see what kind of color we need to fit here. So we need to blue, gray and white. So if I just bring them here, you can see that they fit perfectly, and this is how they should move. So I'm going to move them here slightly in this location, and then use this pen tool, and I think this is the point where they should snap. So corner point here, create a horizontal line, and then move these ones into their perfect location like that, and they should snap here. And then again I'm going to create a horizontal line downwards, because we need to move them these down here in this location. And in order to do that, we need to create a horizontal line starting from this corner here like that, and then move these points, actually move these shapes here and snap them in their perfect location like that. Now we need the white and the gray one, and they should snap here like that. And if they are not snapping, you can do the same thing again. You can use this pen tool, and we need this is the corner point that we need. Click here, create a horizontal line, select these 2 shapes, and now when you bring them closer here, they will automatically snap like that. And the last thing is that we need another shape here at the top. So I'm going to select these 3 points, and by the way, again we need to create that horizontal line from this corner point here like that. And we are going to select these 3 shapes, bring them at the top while pressing the Alt key, and make sure that they snap here in this perfect location. We do not need this horizontal line, so I'm going to delete it. And one more thing that I would like here to bring this white one and bring it here at the top, and it should snap here to fill this area. Now all I need is to just turn this one into a seamless pattern, and it is going to be slightly tricky here, but don't worry, we are going to work it out. So I'm going to use this pen tool here, and we're going to focus on let's select this one. So I'm going to focus on this corner point. So click here, and as soon as you get these highlights here like that, you are going to click on this corner point like that. And as you see that we created a point here on the white version top corner. The same thing we are going to do here, create a corner point here at the corner point of this white one. So top white one like that, and then bring it down. We are going to choose this top corner of the white one like that, and as soon as we get the highlights of this hexagon shape, we are going to click it here like that, and then again move it here on this location, and make sure that you get the corner point. You need to zoom in, get the corner point, this top one like that, and then close the shape here like that. and this is how you will get this rectangle shape. And let's just fill it with black color, and maybe we need to bring it at the top here. So now we can hide all the symbols that we created, everything that we created, we can hide them, so that we are only left with this black shape. And by the way, do not move this black shape. We are going to create you can say an artboard from this one. So I'm going to use this artboard tool, bring it here at the corner point, and then create artboard the size of that size of the shape that we got. So let's select this one. We have this one as 10041 and 1801, the same size we want for the artboard. So the artboard is 10041 and 1801, and the size of this shape is 10041 and 1801. So the two sizes need to match exactly. So let's just now hide this black shape, we do not need it, and let's just bring all the symbols and make them visible and bring them inside that artboard too. And as soon as we bring it inside it, we get this perfect looking seamless pattern, and we can export it as a PNG image. So before I export it, all I need to do is to hide that hexagon shapes. So I need to bring the curve outside that hexagon shape. Let's just hide it, each and every color symbol that we have. So bring it outside, hide the hexagon shape, and then we can export it as a PNG image. And now if we just file and simply go to export, now notice one thing here, our design is here in the artboard 2, not in artboard 1. So while exporting the PNG image, make sure that you have artboard 2 selected, not artboard 1. So once you select that and simply export it, you can create a new document, and the size does not matter. If you want to test it and create any shape, it does not really matter. Use that tool, fill tool at the top. From the type, choose bitmap and select that PNG in the image that you just exported. And if you just scale it down, you will be able to see if it is perfect or not. And if you see any kind of edges here like that, this is the irregularity here. This is something that we do not want, so we need to maybe fix our pattern. So in order to remove that, we need to go back to our pattern. Let's just delete it, go back to our pattern, and let's just bring the shapes back in the curves. But before I do that, I need to unhide that curve and bring them back inside it in that hexagon shape like that. And then I'm going to do is to just select these symbols, all of these symbols. Let's just group them for simplicity. Let's just group them so that we can easily move it, and let's just move it back to the artboard 1. And we need to, let's just delete that curve shape that we created, and we can delete the artboard 2 as well because it was not perfect. So we are going to repeat the same process again. We want to create the pen shape, and this is a bit tricky, because sometimes the clicks are not on the perfect location. So if we just click here, you can see that we get a highlight. We can click here, and then I can click here on this corner point like that, and then bring it down and click on this corner point here. Let me just zoom out a bit. So we need to click here at the top corner here, so top of this white one like that, and then top of this white one, this corner point like that, and then simply close it. And let's say what is the size of this shape. Now this time the size of this curve that we got here is 1039.2 and 1800, and it seems like that it might not be perfect, but let's say if it is or not. So let's just try it and see if it works or not. So again, we are going to bring that, hide that design symbol, maybe fill this one with some color and create an artboard from it. like that. And the artboard size should be exactly like the size of our this colored shape, so 39.2 and 1800, and artboard 2 is also of the same size. So we can hide this curve, bring these our design elements into the artboard 2, and inside it we can simply just bring these ones outside of that hexagon shape and hide it. Same is the case with the others, bring it outside each and every color one that we have. And the last one we have this white one, bring it outside of that curve shape and hide it. And now let's just export it again. Make sure that the artboard 2 is selected. Let's just test this again. I'm going to use that fill tool, and from the type choose bitmap, this png image again, and let's see how it looks. Do I still see those jagged edges or rough edges or the irregularities? I do not see any irregularities, and this means that this time our pattern is perfectly seamless. So after trying maybe for 1 or 2 times, you will get a perfect seamless pattern and you will get it. Now the best thing about this is that you can recolor it as you see fit. So I can just simply bring this one back in the artboard 1 so that I can see more of the elements. I can just simply now go into any of this one and try to recolor it as I see fit. So I can color it maybe slightly reddish, darker reddish, something like that, and maybe change the other one, this white one, maybe change this one. Let's just keep the white one like that, and maybe change this gray one to be a different one, like this red, blue and white. Maybe change this one, so kind of like a vintage color pattern of lizards. And by the way, I have just made these shapes to be very simple. I didn't added much details in it, and you can always add more detail if you want. So I can just export it again, and again you can see that we get a perfect looking lizards tessellation pattern. And by the way, you don't have to create the lizards, you can create anything as you see fit. So guys, this is how you can easily create a tessellation using hexagon shapes, and I hope that you have found this tutorial to be useful. If so, make sure that you like the video, and if you have any questions regarding this video or any of my previous videos, you can ask me in the comments below and I'll try my best to answer those questions. And once again, thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.